What is morality? Where does it come from? What are its forms and its dynamics? Each of the thinkers at the core of the classical sociological canon provided differing answers to these questions. Weber, Simmel, Durkheim, and Marx all viewed morality as a social phenomenon, accessible to empirical sociological or historical investigation. However, each conceived of the social in fundamentally different terms, and so each had a different object in view when they set out to investigate moral phenomena, and took different methodological routes into that investigation. This is more than a question of having differing moral priorities, or taking differing positions on moral questions. The substantive answer to a specific moral question implicitly assumes a conception of what morality is and how it works. Different theoretical conceptualizations frame the stakes and the options of moral decision in incommensurate ways. Such differences make the sociology of morality a complex field, characterized by competing and, to some extent, mutually incompatible projects. This complexity is evident as much in the classical tradition as in more contemporary work. In this chapter I use the work of Weber, Simmel, Durkheim, and Marx to illustrate four different epistemic strategies in sociology. These strategies are situated on a continuum from methodological individualism, represented by Weber's work, to holism, represented by Durkheim's, with Simmel's and Marx's projects at differing points in between. A fifth distinct strategy, epistemologically less holist than Marx's, but more so than Simmel's, is absent from the classical tradition, but important to contemporary sociology. I touch briefly on it and its implications at the end of my main discussion. One convenient way of commensurating the different sociological conceptions of morality taken by the classical thinkers is provided by Constructivists' 1993 notion of epistemic strategies. Epistemic strategies are types of methodological frameworks characterized by the way in which they refer to emergent phenomena. Emergence, loosely speaking, is the quality of the whole being greater than the sum of its parts, or much coming from little. More rigorously, it is the arising of novel and coherent structures, patterns, and properties during the process of self-organization in complex systems. Emergence can be viewed ontologically, as in Durkheim's famous dictum that social facts should be treated as things, or epistemologically in terms of levels of analysis that cannot be broken down into their constituent phenomena without a loss of explanatory power. One way or the other, emergent phenomena feature in much sociological explanation, whether these are called structures, systems, figurations, relations, discourses, signs, or something else. Disputes about emergence of social structure have often taken on an all-or-nothing quality, making the number of epistemic strategies only two: individualism or holism. However, the use of emergence is more fruitfully understood in terms of a continuum, along which Kontopoulos distinguishes at least five general positions: At one end is methodological individualism, which allows no emergent phenomena by insisting that all explanations in terms of collectivities or structures must in principle be reducible to explanation in terms of individual action. This position can be found in Weber's work and in behavioralism and rational choice theory. Next on the scale is compositionism, which admits of supra-individual phenomena such as forms, relations, or institutions, but does not propose that these phenomena combine further to constitute systems or organic wholes. This second position is represented in the classical tradition by Simmel. Skipping to the opposite end of the scale, we find holism. Not only do social structures exist beyond individuals and exert a constraining effect on individual action, structures act directly on each other to form an integrated, organically unified system. That is, a system so effectively integrated that all of its parts are mutually complementary, with the exception only of some more or less severe pathologies. This position is taken by Durkheim, for whom the term society refers to just such an organically integrated system. One step away from holism is the strategy of explaining social life in terms of systems whose subcomponents are irreducibly at odds with one another through tensions and contradictions generated by the system itself. Marx's account of capitalism exemplifies this strategy, which Contopoulos calls modular hierarchy. Finally, at the middle of the spectrum lie the heterarchical projects, those that explain social life in terms of multiple mutually irreducible social systems, each with their own relations and institutions, each tending unsuccessfully toward the totalization of social life. The heterarchical strategy is not represented in the classical tradition, but it is a feature of contemporary theory and is exemplified in the work of Pierre Bourdieu. It is the most complex position and raises interesting questions when applied to morality.